Now, Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan says Eskom is soon hoping to get more electricity from independent power producers to boost generation capacity. He made these remarks during an energy crisis committee briefing this afternoon. Gordhan adds that the plan needs the Energy Department's approval first.
Current IPPs are not using necessarily all of the power that they produce, so they have surplus. So Eskom requires consent to buy surplus power that is available in current IPPs, and up to 1,000 megawatts is potentially available in the next 3 months, and that will be connected to the grid as well. There's also potential for another 600 megawatts following a similar requirement, and this is where triple exemptions are required from Section 34, from the triple PFA and from the PFMA, and those are processes my colleagues are working on. Then there have been negotiations over the last 10 days or so with our neighboring countries in the Southern African Energy Pool, and here somewhere between 100 and 200 megawatts could be available in the period of a month, depending on the contracting mechanisms and agreement on price as well.
For more on this, we're joined now by former Eskom General Executive Manager Vally Padayachee. A very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. We've just, of course, listened to some of the remarks and the way forward as ventilated by the Energy Crisis Committee. What are your thoughts, perhaps your reaction on some of the commitments that we've heard from that committee this afternoon?
A very good evening to you, Impo, and a very good evening to your viewers as well. Yes, given the current energy crisis that the country faces, we will welcome all opportunities to access electrons onto the grid, and we welcome the Minister Pravin Gordhan's comments around accessing the electrons from IPPs, and I think he's talking mainly about mining houses, etc. within South Africa. We need permission for that. But also we would welcome accessing, and as the Minister says, 100 to 200 megawatts of power from our neighboring countries. That would be most welcome. And as you know, for many years, and I think we still do, we've been selling electrons to our neighboring countries. But I think given our crisis now, we would welcome that opportunity to access electrons from those countries.
Minister Pravin Gordhan, as you make mention of speaking to the 150 megawatts from gas processed in Mozambique, saying that the conversations have been happening for about 10 days and that this extraction could be available in 3 months. I mean, does that sound, convincing enough in terms of the time frame and perhaps some insight on the technicalities? How will that process work?
Well, I think you've got to split it. Firstly, it's the arrangement or the opportunity to access those electrons from the neighboring countries, and I think that 3 months time frame is doable from getting proper permissions and authority. The technical aspects may take a bit longer because by the nature of extracting gas and bringing them into the pipelines, etc., that may take a bit longer. I would estimate. I don't have all the details, but I think with the crisis in end and with the President and his team pulling out all stops to access opportunities, I think it is doable. Obviously, I don't have, and I'm not privy to all of those details.
Yeah. The issue of security at power stations also came up this afternoon at the briefing with Minister Mondli Gungubele saying that some progress has been made on that front. How important is it to ensure that the security is something that continues to be monitored, because it has been listed? I mean, the allegations of sabotage have come out very strongly when South Africans are left in the dark.
Yeah, I think if we do not address the aspects of sabotage timeously and promptly, then lots of the initiatives that we are putting into place may not be realized in the time frame that we do. So given that the security agencies would be encouraged to pull out all stops in ensuring that the aspects of sabotage are arrested, excuse the pun, and curtailed as a matter of urgency.
What about the issue of Eskom's debt being unsustainable? I mean, that also was something that came from Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana, raising it as a point of concern.
Obviously, I don't talk on behalf of Eskom on that, but I know the Eskom business reasonably well. Yes, it is a significant challenge. I mean, it's not easy to settle a debt of 300 to 400 billion rand. But my understanding is, and this latching on to the comments from the Minister of Finance, there seems to be a plan, but I'm sure that plan is not going to be an easy one to implement. But I have every faith and confidence in the Minister of Finance and his team. I think National Treasury has always come to the party in very difficult circumstances. And I'm sure that there is going to be some light at the end of the tunnel. But it's not going to be easy. It may come in with some cost and some give or take. But that debt needs to be settled in some way as part of the journey to fixing Eskom. Because if you do not do that, fixing Eskom will not be realized.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for weighing in here. Former Eskom General Executive Manager Vally Padayachee speaking to some of the remarks that were made coming out of the Energy Crisis Committee this afternoon.